Did Meghan know Prince Andrew? And further to that, why did she feign total ignorance to Prince Harry? Hi, and thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Unanswered Questions. Now, there was a rare, honest moment in Meghan Markle's interview with Oprah Winfrey, where she admitted that she actually knew Princess Eugenie before she met Harry. And it was due to that admission that I think I wondered, why didn't she know who Prince Andrew was? I mean, wouldn't you know the father of one of your new besties, especially a new royal bestie? Also, she told us about that fateful Sunday where she met the Queen, where she gave her first deep curtsy in the Netflix docudrama. And I think that was the single moment where she really sullied her brand all across the world when she actually told that story. The disrespect was off the charts. Now, this is how Harry told it in Spare in his memoir. After a moment, Meg asked me something about the Queen's assistant. I asked who she was talking about. That man holding the purse. That man who walked her to the door. Oh, that wasn't her assistant. Who was it? That was her second son, Andrew. Now, that's so unbelievable that that conversation ever took place, because as if Harry would actually speak to Meghan in that way, and yet it's presented as if it's a verbatim conversation. He would have said, oh, that's Eugenie's dad, or that's Eugenie's father, or that's my Uncle Andrew, Eugenie's father. But he wouldn't have said, that was her second son, Andrew. So, that comes under the heading for me that that conversation didn't happen. And if it did happen, it didn't happen in that way. And that makes you wonder, why was it put in Spare? Why was such a moment made out of it? Why was it put in there? And it's almost like it was a clapback. It's almost like it was to refute rumours. And so we're going to delve into all that speculation and all those rumours in this episode. So Meghan Markle was friends with Princess Eugenie, like I said, for many years supposedly before she met Prince Harry in 2016. I'm of the personal opinion that she may have met Harry earlier than 2016. Many people point to Istanbul, Soho House, Istanbul. I think that was in 2014. I think they met a little earlier than that. I think that they met about 2013, and I've made several videos on it. But let's stick in this episode to the question we're asking. Did Meghan know Prince Andrew? And further to that, why did she feign total ignorance to Prince Harry? Now, there's lots of really interesting connections between the Sussexes and the Yorks, and I'm going to explore those with you in this episode, even pre-Meghan, pre-Harry, pre-everything. Eugenie was the matchmaker cousin for Hapless Has. She was the one that actually introduced him to Cressida at a music festival. And be aware that Cressida was his last really serious romance before he met Meghan Markle. This is how Harry tells it. I was at a music festival and my cousin tapped me on the shoulder. Harry, this is my friend Cressida. Oh, hello. The setting was inauspicious, lots of people, zero privacy. Also, I was still suffering a broken heart. Oh, Harry, the eternal victim. On the other hand, the landscape was lovely, the music was good, the weather was fine, and there were sparks. Now, it's assumed that Meghan actually met Eugenie through Mission Anu, a British Bahraini fashion designer who'd maintained a close friendship with Eugenie for over a decade. Now, Meghan and Misha hit it off at Soho House at an event in 2013, and they were actually introduced by Marcus Anderson, the infamous Marcus Anderson, and they sat together next to each other at a lunch and they hit it off. One thing I find very interesting about Meghan Markle is she's very good at hitting it off with other women initially. She's very good at being very, very charming and becoming your new firm, fast bestie within a blink of an eye. Now, Misha's connection with the York girls goes beyond this instant bond with Meghan Markle. It's rooted in shared social circles and personal ties with the York girls, like I said, for over a decade. And Beatrice and Eugenie actually attended Misha's first wedding to Alexander Gilks, which was in Venice, Italy. And Alexander went to Eton with Prince Harry. So everyone knew everybody else. So the fact that Meghan was introduced to Misha was very important. In fact, I think it was imperative if she was ever going to sort of really penetrate that royal circle. Now, Eugenie's friendship with Alexander Gilks went into the professional because she ended up working for him for a few years, from 2013 to 2015 in New York City at Paddle 8. And initially it was just as an intern, but then she became a full-time employee. So Meghan's friendship with Eugenie, when she was first introduced by Misha, why wasn't she a little bit curious? Why didn't she Google her? I mean, if I was introduced to a Princess Eugenie, by my new best friend, I'd be curious. I'd want to see what sort of position she held within the institution, who she was related to. If I didn't know anything about her, I would be intrigued. Why is she a princess? Why does she have that title? Just a quick search would have sufficed. And I can't believe that Meghan Markle didn't do that. Now, around the time that Misha actually introduced them, Eugenie, Beatrice and Prince Andrew were quite often in Hello magazine, and I know this because I looked it up. They were also in People magazine. They were also featured for the Royal Walk to Church on Christmas Day, 2013, 2014, 2015. So she had 3 years to see that prior to meeting Harry. They also were featured in Easter services photos on Getty Images. And like I said, featured in Town and Country, in the glossies, amongst other photographs of the royal family. So I find it very hard to believe that she didn't know who Eugenie's father was. Now, we don't have to rely just on those connections between the Yorks and Meghan Markle. We can look at Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, who moved in quite similar professional circles to Meghan Markle in 2010-2011. Because Sarah too was represented by Ken Sunshine of Sunshine Sachs. And, he's renowned for heading up a very prominent public relations firm. And the firm is known for handling very high-profile clients. And he worked with Sarah through a period of intense media scrutiny, where she was really facing personal and financial challenges, and in particular had been in that sting where it's alleged she was trying to sell access to her ex-husband for £500,000 for a £50,000 down payment in that hideous video where she was, humiliated. So she had to go into a public relations sort of rehabilitation period, and the person that helped her with that was Ken Sunshine from Sunshine Sachs. And it was actually Ken Sunshine who organised the sort of apologetic interview with Oprah Winfrey, where she basically apologised for her appalling behaviour. It's uncanny, isn't it, that Sunshine Sachs was working with Meghan Markle as early as 2013, where she first met Eugenie. 6 on the call sheet, bit player little Meghan Markle in an unknown cable drama. With a very limited market share back there, pretty much no one knew it even existed. And here she was being represented by a public relations firm that is for industry heavy hitters, a firm that only represented A-listers. And if they represented anybody that was up and coming, it was someone that was up and coming in the Hollywood movie industry, not someone that was 6 on the call sheet in an unknown cable drama. I'm sure there's a far simpler explanation. I just haven't found it yet. And I'm pretty sure, although I may be wrong, and look, if Sarah Ferguson wants to reach out to me or Meghan Markle wants to reach out to me and correct this information, I'm guessing, I'm thinking, I'm supposing, I'm speculating that Sarah Ferguson was still being represented by Ken Sunshine around the same time he took on Meghan Markle as a client. Okay, yacht girl rumours that have persisted and followed Meghan Markle around now for over 5 years. Now, I looked up the term yacht girl because I wanted to know what the definition was. Typically refers to women who are allegedly hired to provide companionship to wealthy individuals on luxury yachts. But I have to say from the outset, I have found 0 definitive evidence to prove that or disprove that. So it is unproven. At this stage, it is just speculation, social media intrigue. But I do have a few interesting things to share with you that probably points to why there are rumours. So that's always interesting because something always starts these things. So I looked in to see what may have started it. Now, most of you are really up with things, and you know, back in the day, there were photographs of Prince Andrew on a yacht, and everyone thought it was Meghan Markle, but it actually turned out to be a model called Alexandra Escat. And yes, she was on the yacht with Prince Andrew, poor woman, rubbing suntan oil on his back. I'll put up a few of the photographs so that you can see. She was only 25 and he was considerably older than that, so that puts him definitely in the ranks of a creepy old man. But never mind that, it wasn't Meghan Markle, as I think you can see by the photographs anyway. But there was something more than that. In 2020, the Steeple Times in the UK reported that a renowned journalist tipped them off that the Duchess of Sussex may have met Prince Andrew before she met Prince Harry through a mutual friend, Jeffrey Epstein. Now, again, no proof. We have no verified source. It's very nice, Steeple Times, to say that it was a renowned journalist, but unless we actually get a hint to who that was, unless someone is prepared to go on the record, we have to put that down to speculation and rumour once more. Also, there was a headline which piqued a bit of interest, and it was in 2021, where Virginia Giuffre's lawyer, David Boies, mentioned the possibility of deposing Meghan in Giuffre's lawsuit against Andrew, citing her time as a royal and proximity to Andrew as potentially relevant. Now, I think that this was a bit of mischief making. I think it was designed to put pressure on Prince Andrew. But one has to ask oneself, why would it be considered provocative? Why would it be considered good pressure unless there was a skerrick of truth, enough to worry the other camp? Also, there was more damning allegations in the unauthorised biography of Ghislaine Maxwell by Kirby Summers. Now, she suggested in her book that Meghan Markle might have crossed paths with Prince Andrew through Epstein and Maxwell before meeting Prince Harry. Now, Summers speculated about the existence of a possible photo of Meghan and Prince Andrew back in 2013 or prior to 2013 on a yacht in Phuket in Thailand. And she said that the photograph was in the possession of Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, one thing that fascinates me about this unauthorised biography, she's making a lot of claims about a lot of really important people in this biography, and I can't work out why she isn't sued. I can't work out why, this hasn't had any legal challenge, because she's made very provocative claims. Now, I don't want that to happen to Kirby Summers. Of course, she's been through enough in her very hard life. But it's interesting. There it is, sitting up in the Kindle bookstore. I've read her book. There's all these allegations, and no one has disputed them. No one has taken her to court. What I read out in this video was pretty much verbatim or a summary of what she has alleged in her book. So it's very interesting, isn't it? So we've got the Steeple Times. We've got the unauthorised biography. We've got Virginia Giuffre's lawyer having a go. It's all very interesting. It's all very interesting. So that is pretty much the source of the rumour and the speculation. And people believe that there's a there because of the lack of legal challenge. However, I have to reiterate that there is no concrete evidence. There is no verified photographs. There are no legal documents. There's no credible witness testimony. It's impossible to say definitively whether Meghan Markle knew Prince Andrew prior to meeting Prince Harry. It remains an unanswered question. But we don't need to look into the more sensational claims really that I've presented to you as a source of rumour and speculation. We have a legitimate question to ask in this program. How did she not know who Eugenie's father was? How is it even believable that she wasn't even remotely curious about that? And why was she at such great pains, so pointedly, to convince Harry that that was the case? Leave your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think. It's a fascinating thing to explore. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you for another one very soon. Bye.